Hello, one and all, and welcome to the channel. Today, I'm giving you guys my top 10 favorite films of 2025. I cannot believe that another year has passed. It's crazy to me that 2025 went so friggin' fast. It feels like it was just yesterday when I sat right here and told you guys my favorite films of 2024. Another year has come and gone, a year of many great films. It was not the best year in my personal life, if I'm being honest. It was a very rough year emotionally and mentally for me. But you're not here to listen to me talk about that. You're here to listen to me gush about the movies that meant the most to me in 2025. I will tell you right now that making this list was absolutely difficult. There were so many instances where I kept taking films out and putting them into the list and changing things around to the point where I kid you not, about 5 minutes ago, before I hit the record button, I changed around the list again. But for right now, these are the 10 films that stuck with me the most in 2025. So before we get into talking about the films, I just want to say this right off the bat. This is my personal list. These are the films that stuck with me. If you don't agree with my list, that's totally fine. But please be respectful of the fact that this isn't the absolute best of the year and everything. This is just my personal favorite films of 2025. So, with that being said, we're going to go through some honorable mentions. There are so many to put down, and I made sure that I listed every honorable mention that I want to shout out because I know that when I'm editing this video, I'm sure there's going to be one film where I'm like, oh, I forgot to put that one. But here we go with the honorable mentions. Pierre Hujar's Day, Splitsville, Urchin, The Life of Chuck, Avatar Fire and Ash, Zootopia 2, Left-Handed Girl, Is This Thing On, Wake Up Dead Man, Highest to Lowest, 28 Years Later, Friendship, Weapons, Resurrection, Begonia, My Father's Shadow, Frankenstein, Twinless, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, The Perfect Neighbor, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, The Phoenician Scheme, Mickey 17, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Jay Kelly, Superman, and Sound of Fallen. So now we're going to get into the list. Again, this changed around so much. I don't even know where to begin with this, but I'm very excited to share you guys my top 10 list. So here we go with my top 10 films of 2025.
When I see your face, I see wrinkles, gray hair, and children that look like you. Can't help it.
A lot of people are probably going to be flabbergasted that I'm kicking off the list with Materialists. While there are a lot of people that have gone to bat for this movie, there are also so many naysayers. Thankfully, I'm not one of them. While Celine Song's sophomore album may not come close to the perfection of her debut, it's impossible to deny how fantastic of a follow-up Materialist is. What may appear as a rom-com from a distance, all those expectations are flipped instantaneously by presenting a portrait of modern love, not only romantically, but personally. The trio of Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal are wonderful to watch thanks to how lived in the characters feel, but also can't forget how, like with past lives, Celine Song makes New York a character of its own. In my eyes, far from hitting the sophomore slump, one of my favorite romances in recent memory. People were way too harsh on Materialists. They looked at it as cynical storytelling, but for me personally, I found it to be very honest. Materialist is at number 10, so now let's go into number 9.
Hey! Hey! Hey, help! Somebody! That man got my purse! Stop it! Stop that! There's a thief! He got my purse! Stop it!
This may get me some flack from the film community, but Kelly Reichardt is a filmmaker whose work I haven't entirely delved into. I know that that's sacrilegious of me to say, which is why seeing the film like The Mastermind on my top 10 surprises no one more than me. Similar to how Materialist sneaks up on you with its approach to rom-coms, that's how The Mastermind handles itself in exploring the heist film. Normally, you would get something thrilling, anxiety-inducing, and jaw-dropping, but if you know Kelly Reichardt, that's not what The Mastermind was going to be, and God, how I was riveted from beginning to end. Talk about a cozy, gentle, and patient watch, and also so friggin' funny. In a year where Josh O'Connor has given one terrific performance after another, this may be the cream of the crop. It's like Kelly Reichardt shot this film in the 70s, buried it in a time capsule, and it's just now seeing the light of day. There's always a film that appears on the top 10 that I never would have guessed would crack it, but I'm so blessed that the Mastermind did that. Truly riveted by this one. My only complaint, not enough Alana Haim. And funny enough, this isn't the only film where we had a little usage of Alana Haim. So stay tuned for that film. The Mastermind is at number 9, so let's go into number 8.
석 달 안에 재취업에 성공한다. 아! 기분 좋다!
There are filmmakers that are operating on levels that we simply cannot understand. And somehow, every single time he puts a film out, Park Chan-wook finds a way of outdoing himself. And No Other Choice is another impeccable entry in his already stacked filmography. Talk about an enthralling, hysterically dark thriller that also manages to be full of heartbreak, and its blending of tones never feels jarring. All of it feels earned. It's pretty crazy how relevant this film feels to our current job market landscape. It's so dark and doesn't shy away from exploring the darker side of the capitalism driven job market and human psyche when pushed to its limits. On top of all that, the filmmaking, Jesus Christ, the vibrant colors, the cinematography, the match cuts, the dissolves, the double exposures. There are so many different things that haven't left my mind since I first saw the movie, and I don't anticipate them leaving my mind anytime soon. And Lee Byung-hun, why isn't he in the best actor discussion more than he should be? Bottom line, capitalism sucks, man. It sucks. No Other Choices at number 8, so let's go into my number 7.
Well, fuck. This is really nice. I guess, yep, I love you.
When I had watched Sorry Baby at Sundance early this year, I knew that we had witnessed the introduction of someone with a wonderful career ahead of them. In comes Ava Victor, who writes, directs, and stars in what is not only maybe the best debut of 2025, but one of the best films of 2025, period. Similar to how I just spoke highly of No Other Choice's balance of tones, Sorry Baby successfully does the same thing by being incredibly funny one moment and then emotionally gutting the next, and then absolutely terrifying after that. It perfectly portrays both the drama and the comedic moments of life, despite the harrowing situation that has been encountered. Think of something akin to Kenneth Lonergan and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. We see the healing process unfold slowly without rush, and it was so well done. A lesser debut would sink under the weight of its writer-director trying to also juggle its central performance, but thankfully Ava Victor handles all three without feeling like something has completely fallen through. So much confidence in their storytelling. I'm so glad to have been a champion of this film ever since I saw it so early in the year, and the fact that it stayed on my top 10 throughout the entirety of the year just comes to show the power that this film had. It's one that I wish got way more attention throughout the year, and I'm still holding out hope that maybe it'll find its audience a little more down the road, but for right now, this is one of those films that should be celebrated, embraced, and talked about more because it really is one of the best films of the entire year. Sorry Baby is at number 7, so it's time to go into my number 6.
Fast, falling, falling, fast, falling, falling,
Well done!
I watched Hamnet on September 8th of this year. That was 251 days into the year. And I'm going to say something super crazy. It took me 251 days to rate a 2025 film 5 stars. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That just shows how much of a beast this film was. The talk around Hamnet in the film space has certainly been an interesting one. Like with any film, you have its fans and you have its critics, Both have been very passionate on their stance, but for me, I was completely stunned from start to finish. What Chloe Zhao does by delivering a deeply shattering exploration of grief and healing makes for one of the toughest watches in recent memory. Jessie Buckley delivers what very well could be the performance of her career. She's asked to do so many things in this film, all while keeping it from veering into trauma porn territory, and she does them all without missing a beat throughout. On that equal level of brilliance is Paul Mescal, who once again brings so much sensitivity to his performance, and a major shout out needs to be given to Jacoby Jupe, who may have turned in the child performance of the year. The film falls in line with many titles I've loved throughout the years that have showcased how art could be as healing for the audience as it is for the artist. Astonishing work from everyone involved. Such a sensitive gut punch of a watch. I'll never forget when I saw this film at TIFF and the reaction was just unlike anything I had ever witnessed. Everyone was speechless. People were crying. People were quivering. They were shaking. There were so many emotions walking out of that screen. People were embracing one another. It was truly something else. This film is really, really wonderful. And it's going to be interesting to see how it fares in the years to come. Hamnet is at number 6, so now it's time to go into the top 5. Let's go.
When the girl loves the guy with all of her heart and he just doesn't return her feeling? Do you have any idea what that feels like?
Nobody ever loved me that much.
Richard Linklater will forever be one of my favorite filmmakers. Ethan Hawke will be forever one of my favorite actors. We've waited 10 plus years to see what they were going to do next, and they come back with a beautiful culmination of everything that their career has led up to. And I think this was the perfect film to come out at this stage in their respective careers. Blue Moon is maybe the most made-for-me movie I saw in 2025, a chamber piece set in 1940s New York City, surrounding musical theater, featuring snappy dialogue, a portrait of one's self-reflection, and an absolutely dynamite turn from Ethan Hawke. A performance that could finally gain him his first Best Actor nomination at the Oscars. 100 minutes that feels like 20 minutes due to the highly witted and thoughtful screenplay by Robert Kaplow. And as someone who's been through a genuinely unpleasant year full of regret and pain, it was amazing to see a film like Blue Moon discuss not knowing what a person is actually going through and how it could be different from how they present themselves to you. And months after watching this, I still don't understand what magic they put on screen to make Ethan Hawke, a 5'10" man, into a 5 foot tall man very seamlessly. It's impeccable work on everyone's part. Richard Linklater, you're a madman. Ethan Hawke, you're a madman. But anytime you guys put anything out, I am seated hands down. And I just hope that they keep making films till the end of the time. Blue Moon is at number 5, so now it's time to go into number 4.
Ni två är ju det bästa som har hänt mig.
Bäst som har skjedd deg? Skulle vært der litt mer, da?
Following a masterpiece like The Worst Person in the World was always going to be tricky. Thankfully, Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value was a perfect follow-up that honestly is not only on par with his predecessor, but there are instances where it might just be better. And that's saying a lot. There is so much that I could say about Sentimental Value. I wouldn't even know where to start. For one, the performances are up there for some of the strongest of the year. Renata Reinsve, Stellan Skarsgård, and Elle Fanning are all impeccable. But it's Inga Ibsdottir Lillis that commands the screen. Talk about a performance in which someone walks into a room and could see straight into the character's soul. This is a film that acknowledges that while art cannot erase the damage from one's past, it could offer the possibility of seeing oneself in another and finding redemption. Even if the path to get there and move forward is bumpy, I admire that Trier highlights that change doesn't come spoon-fed and that reconciliation doesn't always solve people's problems. There's just no immediate solution to get rid of our inner turmoil. It takes time, effort, and patience, and ultimately how we choose to live or deal with them. Numerous moments left me reflecting on relationships in my life, as well as the journey to put the broken pieces back together. It's pretty wild how I'm sitting here talking about how gutted of a watch this is, but also there were so many moments that made me guffaw throughout the movie. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but if you've seen the movie, all I'll just say is that it involves a gift that was given to a child. One of the biggest laughs of the entire year for me. It's so crazy that a film like this that is so deeply moving could also be pretty hilarious at the same time. Sentimental value is at number 4, so now it's time to go into the top 3. Let's do it.
Son, you keep dancing with the devil. One day it's gonna follow you home.
What can I say about Sinners that hasn't been said already? Something like this comes once in a blue moon. This is the kind of film that you watch that reminds you of why you fell in love with film in the first place. An intoxicating blend of genres, a film about fighting for what is yours, keeping it close and keeping it safe and being able to share it with the people that you love, a film that will simply linger with you, make you think about what freedom looks like. What Ryan Coogler and his team do is create something completely unique that caters towards the cinephile crowd and the casual movie-going crowd. Not many filmmakers are able to achieve that. So many swings are taken here, all of which pay off beautifully. The filmmaking choices left my jaw on the floor, even many viewings in. I'm still in sheer awe of what everyone does here. The cast, the imagery, the music, every element of it is just perfection. It's the rare studio film that engages your intellect while it scares you senseless. There's a scene here, you know what I'm talking about, that I think in many years, up and coming filmmakers of that time will cite that particular scene as one of the inspirations that led them into pursuing a career in filmmaking. I got goosebumps not just from that scene, but from all 138 minutes of Sinners. Sinners is just something else. It's really an impeccable film across the board, and I love it so much. I have that at number 3, so now it's time to get into the top 2. Here we go.
You see, sometimes it feels like the sadness will just eat me alive, but sometimes it feels like it happened to somebody else.
You know how every once in a while you go into a film knowing little to nothing, and then you walk out of it saying that that might have been one of the best films you've ever seen? That was how I was with Clint Bentley's Train Dreams. Without question, one of the best films of the decade. It combines deep tragedy with moments of joy. It takes us through a world that is much larger than we can truly understand. This world, though changed by our presence, likely won't remember us. Rather than forcing a single clear message or moral about the protagonist's suffering, it presents those complex moments as a part of a larger, more difficult picture. They represent the messy, contradictory nature of life. In a way, Train Dreams doesn't ask what the meaning of life is. Instead, it questions which moments, including joyful ones, we will carry into the future. And on top of that, it has my favorite cinematography of the year, my favorite score of the year, and my favorite performance of the year in Joel Edgerton, whose work reminds us that the quietest can be the most effective. Long overdue of his flowers, and while he's turned in many incredible performances, this takes the top spot for me. It's not even close. To provide some context, I never see a film twice at a festival, but I couldn't pass on that with Train Dreams. Greg Quidar and Clint Bentley are just creating magic with one another. Every time they put something out, it's just dynamite work. Last year, I had Saint Sane in my top 3, and Greg Quidar directed that, and Clint Bentley co-wrote that. This time, they swapped roles, and they both co-wrote this, and Bentley directed it. This film is so good. Netflix doesn't deserve it. It's a real shame that it isn't getting as much attention as other films that Netflix put out this year. And if you haven't watched Train Dreams, please do yourself a favor and give it a watch. You won't regret it. It really is one of the most riveting watches that you'll come across this year. It's so incredible. It's so impeccable. Just everything about it is pure movie magic. But it's not my number 1 film of the year. We have seen so many great films throughout the year. We have talked about how game changing many films that came out this year were. But if I'm being honest with myself, there's one film that really stuck the landing in that department to where I couldn't stop thinking about it. I kept going back to the theater to watch it. I've seen the film probably about 10 times now, although don't check my letterbox. My letterbox is lying when it comes to that. You guys are probably going to roll your eyes when I tell you what film it is. If you see the thumbnail, you know what it is. Like, you know exactly what the film is that's going to be my number one of the year. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. My favorite film of 2025 is
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. God damn it! Viva la revolution!
Well, I had to quickly make a costume change because I'm probably the 5,000 guy on the internet that decided to dress up as this character when making this list. So, yep, as you can see, One Battle After Another is my favorite film of 2025. I don't even know what to say that hasn't been said already, but I'm just going to talk about it anyway. It would have been very out of character for me to not put the newest Paul Thomas Anderson film at number one. But I mean, come on, how could this not be number one? Exhilarating, politically charged, deeply moving, and incredibly hilarious, all in the while, it might be the most urgent film that he has ever put out. A reminder that he is the type of artist that we need more of, someone who refuses to do anything but tell stories, important stories that he has to tell. And with where the film industry has gone this year, it's so crucial that we keep letting filmmakers tell the stories that they want to tell. No film made me feel that way more than One Battle After Another. It felt so good to see a movie crafted with such love across every single department. I could go on for hours about how phenomenal the performances are, or the score, or the editing, or the imagery. Everything is meticulous, and even saying that feels like an understatement. This film is something special. I adore it to the moon and back. I can't wait to keep watching it over and over and over again, and for future generations to experience it. One Battle After Another is without a doubt my favorite film of 2025. I mean, yeah, it's just the greatest. I'd be curious to see where it lands on my films of the decade when we reach the end of the 2020s. But I don't even want to think that far ahead. But speaking of ends, that's the end of this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear your thoughts on my list, but I would also love to hear your top 10 lists in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share this around. I also want to announce that I have a new podcast coming out called Some Like It Real. It will be premiering in January. I'm going to put links in the description below so you guys can stay up to date with that podcast when it launches. Have a wonderful holiday. Have a wonderful and safe new year. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me throughout 2025. Take care, everybody. Keep loving film, and Viva la Revolution.